Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It looks like I'm not wearing a shirt. I swear I'm wearing a shirt. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would absolutely love it if you like the content, okay? If you like what you see on this channel, if you could help me to drum up engagement on the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. We're like 40 subscribers away from 2,000 on the channel, and I would love to make that goal sometime soon. So it means the world to me. Obviously, if you're new here, I have a lot of other videos on my page, and suss out the vibes, watch the video, and let me know how you feel at the end. Today, we are going to get into days 53 and 54 in the Big Brother house. We had a veto ceremony, we had our noms, a little bit of drama in the house, and a little bit of buzzings about, kind of this person's a threat, this person's a threat. So we're gonna get into it. Let's jump right in. First off, if you have forgotten, our HOH this week is Chelsie. Her original targets, the people that she said that she was going to put up, was likely going to be Chemo and Angela. So let's get on into this. So we're going to get into day 53, and this is prior to nominations. So we start off the day with Quinn and Chemo having a conversation. Now, Quinn admits to Chemo, hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I fully thought you were leaving this week, but I'm happy you're still here. He did say that the speech he gave was super moving, it was very touching. And, overall, he admits, look, I became pretty skeptical of you during the Cedric situation, obviously, because Ticor and Chemo were responsible for the flip. So he said, look, I put you up because I was skeptical from that situation. But again, it's all water under the bridge. Now, he says that Joseph told him that Tucker was trying to get Angela out. And he said, Quinn says to Chemo overall, look, I felt like I was not involved in things. I feel like I was kind of just like in the back burner for a very long time. And so he also felt like he had made that suggestion. Quinn was like, I kind of suggested, hey, like, let's get Angela out. But it feels like only Tucker got credit for it. It feels like people only wanted to listen to Tucker when he was suggesting making moves. And Quinn's like, I know the game. I know the strategy. So it just kind of felt like I was being thrown to the back for Tucker. Now, he did say that Joseph apologized during his one-on-one with him for what he had said, for what he had with Tucker, which we saw. We did see Joseph admit that he and Tucker had that final two, and we did see him indeed apologize to him. And he said that Brooklyn was the one that originally snitched about the other alliance. So Quinn did understand why Rubina sided with Tucker to keep Angela, but he's still puzzled at why Chemo would do that. Chemo said, look, like, Angela wasn't coming after me, I just kind of did what Tucker wanted because Angela wasn't coming after me. So for my game, it was just fine to kind of go along with it all. Chemo did say that with the Cedric vote, he and Ticor were just exploring different options, and Joseph had approached them with something that sounded enticing. But Quinn says overall he didn't really feel great about not knowing about 5 Points, 6th Avenue, all of these other alliances that they were a part of. Chemo does tell Quinn, like, look, I didn't want Rubina on the block during that week, and I feel like you didn't ask for my input on that decision. And Chemo and Ticor have done a lot of that, where they're like, how dare Quinn did that week? How dare Quinn do that? He didn't ask us. He didn't care about our feelings. He didn't take us into consideration. And what always gets me about those two, though, is like, you guys orchestrated many flips at this point against Quinn, and Quinn has not been involved in like almost anything. So it's just weird because I feel like they talk about the visionaries when it benefits them, but when it doesn't benefit them, then the visionaries are not a thing. Because as you know, this week, well, you might not know, but you'll know soon, this week they brought up the visionaries again, and are the visionaries a thing? What happened to the visionaries? And it's like, but y'all were not with the visionaries either. So I don't know. Quinn and Ticor also finally have a conversation.
With me, because Joseph told me that you told him that you felt like my move was cowardly by putting him on the block too.
I didn't say those exact words, but...
Okay, well, I mean...
Yeah.
So he basically recaps the entire conversation about Joseph and all the stuff he just told Chemo about the relationship that he had with Joseph. He says, look, like, I understand your opinion of me in the game as I run my mouth. Chikor cuts him off. He's like, I don't feel that way. He's like, well, okay. I mean, Chemo said it and he didn't deny it, so I don't know. Quinn goes, look, I know you felt like my move to put Chemo up was pretty cowardly. I understand you felt that way. She's like, I didn't feel that way. I'm like, Tigor, like, come on. He already knows. He already knows. He already knows. It's okay. You don't have to deny it all. Now she says, look, I didn't realize that Tucker was telling people behind the scenes something different when it came to the Cedric vote. She's like, I thought we were all on the same page. I had no idea that other people were being told different plans. You know. These two, I feel like every time they have conversations, it's so tense, you know? So the HOH crew, meaning MJ, Chelsie, Cam, Leah, Quinn, they all are discussing Angela.
This is a huge milestone. I'm genuinely congratulating you before you go to bed.
Yeah.
She was like, well, I just want to say that's not why I came here. And then walks out the room. I was like, okay, well, I messed up.
That group's favorite pastime this week has been making fun of Angela. They say, you know, Chelsea's telling some story about how, like, she said, congrats on making it to jury. Congrats on the journey here. Like, congratulations. And she got upset and said, that's not what I'm here for. It's like, I didn't come to play for second place. So, you know, they talk about that. They drag Angela for a little while. And then they do get into, like, Zingbot and things like that. So, Angela and Chelsie have a very long and kind of tense conversation.
Had an easy week here since week 1. You've been put up once. You know what that feels like. You know. Well, think about it from my perspective. I have been put up literally every freaking week because already has other targets.
Okay.
Let's just say that.
Understand. I do. I'm not mad.
I don't want you to be mad at me.
I'm not mad
and
at you.
I know that I told you. And
So Angela's like, look, I stood up for myself week 1 against a man, and I've been put up every freaking week because it's easy. You know, I stood up to Quinn, and I've been punished for that every week. Look, I'm a strong woman. I know my age was going to be a factor, but I identify with being younger, okay? I've been a target for 8 consecutive weeks. You've been a target once, you get it. Chelsea's like, look, like, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea you were going up. You know, Tucker and Joseph, they went around to my closest allies and tainted them against me. And I had no idea about that. I also had to clear my name. I've also been a target. You know, you're not the only one. She says, look, like, Angela is not, you know, she's like, you're not the easiest way out. Because guess what? When I was on my HOH, people wanted you to go up. And instead, I didn't do that. I protected you. I kept you safe. You know, everyone has wanted you out of this house since week 2. And I didn't do that. You know, she says, look, the majority of the house has other targets and it's not you. Angela's like, well, okay. If everybody else has other targets and you're working alone, then why not work with me? Why put me up then? She says, why? Why? Why put me up then? If you got other targets. She says she's not mad. Okay, she's not mad. She understands. But Chelsie says, look, I am trying to give you as many opportunities as possible to get off the block. That's why I'm nominating you now and I'm not backdooring you because I don't want you to go. You're not my target. Angela says, look, remember, I was HOH twice and I didn't put you up either time. You know, they go back and forth for a very long time. And, you know, ultimately, it didn't do anything for Angela. But again, as I always give Angela credit for, she's playing the game, she's campaigning, unlike some people in the house, okay? But it didn't do anything. It was futile. After the conversation, Chelsie goes straight to the crew, and she's mocking her. She's talking about everything Angela said.
I'm really not.
But I mean, like,
You're second HOH.
I think under certain
You didn't
pressure,
put nobody up on the
you
block.
can shine, which is amazing.
What you talking
And
about?
keep that. I keep going.
Quinn put people up on the block. See,
So I think
people
people already are perceiving it as.
And then Angela and Chemo also go have a conversation as well. So Quinn and Chelsie, they have a conversation, and she is telling him, he's telling her about the chat with Chemo. He says, overall, look, I think it did well, but I'm going to be honest, I think he still probably doesn't trust me all that much. He says, he said that Chemo knows he's going up, and she's aware that he's an easy person to put up in the future. Now, Quinn says, look, I'd rather sit next to Chemo than to Angela if I was going on the block. And Chelsea's very confused about this. She's like, wait, so you want to be like with Chemo? Like rather than Angela? Like Chelsie keeps asking him over and over because she's like, wait, why would you want to sit next to to Chemo rather than Angela? So he keeps saying that. Now, Quinn says he is aware that Chemo almost won this HOH, and he knows it could be risky for Chelsie if next week Chemo wins. So he understands that. So the feeds are gone for a while. This day, the feeds were down for very, very long because we find out that the AC in the house went out. We find out the AC went out. They were congregated in the HOH room. It was really hot. The feeds were having technical difficulties. There was screeching and chirping noises when they did come on. And overall, I think the heat wave in California really was having the cameras malfunction. And of course, the house guests were not that happy. So when we do come back to the feeds, the nominations have happened, and our noms, as expected, are Chemo and Angela. Now, we get one of Chelsea's chismes.
Well, I've been sitting pretty for weeks. This is Chelsea's Chisme, day 53, episode 63, or something like that. I won HOH, for those who are watching.
And Chelsea's chismes confuse me because I feel like we really don't know what Chelsea's really thinking, because she says one thing in the camera talks, but not really. Then she says other things to other people, but not really. And I feel like Chelsie never really lets us in. But anyways, in Chelsea's chisme, she is talking about how people are starting to feel too comfortable in this house. She said, look, I tried to throw the HOH, but it didn't work, okay? Because people are too comfortable. I want to shake up the game. She mentions how Joseph was so comfortable, and look what happened. Now, she mentions how MJ and Cam are pissing her off at this moment, not because they're lovey-dovey, but because it's super idiotic to be that lovey-dovey at this point in the game and to look like a duo. She says, look, everyone wanted Angela out week 2, but I flipped the vote on Lisa. I put up Chemo because a lot of people in the house feel threatened by him. She says, look, she was about to keep Joseph, and at the very last minute in front of Auntie Julie, she changed her mind. So Quinn and MJ are also having a conversation, and Quinn is starting to plant some seeds against Chelsie.
I don't know, she's not. And it's like, she does good in all the comps.
She's won more than I have.
Yeah, but we are the 3 physical.
It's because I'm tall, isn't it? What the fuck did I do?
And my thought.
Quinn says, Chelsie, she's a college basketball player. Why does nobody care that she's a college basketball player? She's a college athlete. MJ's like, yeah, why am I always the threat when I can only win competitions when I'm about to go home? She says she doesn't, Quinn says, look, I don't want Chelsie to leave right now. I'm not saying that, But Quinn says, look, if we send out Angela, we have to win. And they start to talk and realize that by getting out Angela, they are giving the other side numbers, okay? Chemo is a number for them. So if they continue to take out people that are either in the middle or possibly more aligned with them, then all they're doing is enabling that other side to have numbers. So they realize that Chemo would probably also potentially target them. So logically, it does not make sense to get rid of Angela. And I'm like, finally, someone in this house is thinking. Now, they want to talk to Chelsie deeper about who should actually go. They want Chemo to go, but overall, they really want Chelsie to make the decision so they can say that she made it and they didn't. So yeah. Things of note of that day, Chelsie did mention that she is worried about what would happen if Angela comes off the block, and likely she would nominate Leah. Now, Leah is worried about her place in the house. She expresses she's not sure where people are again. I feel like Leah's kind of back to being a floater this week. Rubina also feels very iffy about the girls' alliance. She's not sure about Leah. And that whole group, Tikor, Chemo, and Chelsie, they're all kind of skeptical about Leah. They realize that she is close to Cam. She's close to other people. She was really close to Joseph. So they're just not sure where she's at. Now, MJ tells Chelsie about the convo with Quinn to potentially keep Angela. Chelsie says, look, I'm cool with whatever. And that has been kind of Chelsea's MO all week, that she's cool with whatever as long as she doesn't have to be the tiebreaker. Now, MJ says she wants the girls' alliance to happen. She feels like they can ride it out. And Tikor is worried about a house flip. Smart girl. Now, day 54, we find out our veto players are Chelsie, Angela, Chemo, Quinn, MJ, and Rubina. It was OTEV, as predicted. Prior to the competition, we have Cam and Chemo having a conversation. Cam says, look, I just wanted to talk with you because we haven't really had many game conversations since the Tucker situation. Chemo says, I know there's no clear target. And I was like, oh, poor Chemo doesn't realize the target is him. But he wants to make it past the double eviction, tells Cam he would not put him up. Now, Cam says, look, I have no targets. I'm not against anybody right now. But basically, he says, I'm going to vote with the house, whatever that means. Like, he says, Chemo, look, you're not a target of mine. But, like, at this point, I kind of got to vote with the house. So, meanwhile, Tikor and Rubina are also chatting, and Tikor is very worried that the house could potentially flip and someone would use the veto to take Angela off again. Now, Chelsie and Rubina, they're having a conversation.
Everything back in my hand.
Right. Yeah.
And so, but I would go to Quinn's HOH room just to study. So I'd go in there and just lay on the couch and beat myself. And then Leah comes in.
They're like ranting about Leah. As I said, this week it's been Leah and Angela that have been the target of Chelsea's rants. They just cannot stand those two. They're talking about the various stories, how Leah was so hung up on saving Angela, how that doesn't all really make sense. MJ does join this conversation and say, look, I will not use the veto if I win, and Quinn would not as well. Chelsie again reiterates that she wants the noms to stay the same. So feeds go down for the competition, and it comes back, and we found out that MJ won the veto. They played OTEV, and the competition was over in one round.
You were the only one up there with the ratings.
That was crazy.
I was like, this is crazy.
I'm like, these fucking idiots. Oh, I have a story. I'm gonna tell you later when we're not like in a public space. I have to tell Chelsie too. Question, because people would have thought that like
It was you or Tucker.
it was Tucker or Cedric because they
or
were the
Tucker.
ones, like, But I knew because everybody, week after week, everybody was like, Tucker didn't compete in that first comp. Tucker didn't compete.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
he did.
Imagine being so excited for OTEV, the yearly competition that is like one of the staple Big Brother competitions. And this cast was so bad at it that they lost in round one. And y'all got smoked by MJ. Y'all got smoked by MJ in one round. So the question apparently was, who did not play in the first HOH? Everyone thought the answer was Tucker, but the real answer was actually Cedric, which was what MJ went for. Again, they are discussing Angela in the competition.
we need game talk. Literally none. She looks at me and she goes, if you win it, I don't want you to use it on me. And I was like, I look at her, I go, we can't talk game right now.
And how she was saying certain things, how she was questioning MJ. They were saying that Angela was like super arrogant and thought she had it right, but she actually didn't. Now Chelsie says, look, do we still want Angela to go? And MJ's like, well, I still need to talk to the trio, obviously, and see what they're gonna do. But both think that Angela will not beat them in anything, so she's not a real threat. Chelsie does mention that she thinks Chemo will protect them, but ultimately, like, still not really sure about who to keep. So Cam and Chelsie have a conversation as well. Cam thinks that Chemo would put him up. Chelsie does tell Cam that T-Core and Rubina are skeptical about Leah. Now Cam knows or thinks that Quinn will be like the swing vote this week, and Cam still ultimately wants Chemo to go though, because the trio will always be 2 votes for him no matter what. And again, I like how people are starting to realize this. We're at a point where having 2 definitive votes every week is gonna be enough to keep somebody, right? Because all they have to do is get 1 more person or, you know, there's a tie or something. So I like that people are starting to think like, if we don't break the trio up, they always are going to have almost majority, right, numbers and votes. So MJ joins the conversation and she says, look, neither Chemo or Angela is a very strong threat, but Chemo was just wanting to put her up. So of course she doesn't want that. Now she does say she's tired of Angela skating by every week, saying all of these different things, but then like everybody keeps her. But she ultimately has no preference on it all. Now, Cam gives his logic on Chemo, again, saying that those 2 votes will always be a threat. And MJ does start to see that and agree. And it seems like at the end of this conversation, they agree that getting out Chemo is still the better option. Now, Cam and Chelsie do talk about how they want their final 3 to be them and T-Core. And she does try to warn him about the relationships with Leah and MJ and how that looks, you know, that he has those relationships. So yeah, I think conversations like this do show, though, it is really not set in stone yet who is going to leave. Because as you can see, these people flip-flop in a minute, you know. So Quinn, T-Core, and Chemo have a conversation. Quinn tells Chemo, look, I think you're going to be good this week, okay? Like, Angela is a loose cannon. She's the best person to be next to because this is the first week of jury and everyone is fed up, so they're going to want to get her out. Now, they do talk about the visionaries, and he said, look, I did have some skepticism based on everything that happened, but there's no need for me to keep holding on to that skepticism. We're all good. They basically agree that they're all good and they're still working together. Quinn does say, oh my God, there's only 3 guys left. Like, that's cool. That's legendary. Just kidding. Just kidding. He also says that Chelsie insinuated that he is good this week, that he has nothing to worry about, and he believes her because Chelsie is an honest player. Now, we have a little drama, okay? They play Truth or Dare, and the feeds kind of cut up a little bit during this game, but we come back to T-Core kind of in her feelings.
Huh? I can't hear you. I'll wait till you get out.
Do a dare. Okay, perfect. Okay, since we are all right here, I would imagine that there are cameras in these windows, like watching with the...
We find out that Rubina made a little comment. So we find out that Rubina made a little joke that T-Core, or that Chemo and her are shields for T-Core. And T-Core took that very, very personally. She actually at some point goes into the bathroom and cries about it. Rubina says, look, I just said it because like I'm a realist and I don't mind. And T-Core starts crying. And Rubina says, yes, like me and Chemo were on the block twice, but like you can't prevent that. It's not your fault. And we obviously don't care. Like it doesn't make us not want to hang out with you. T-Core's like, I genuinely want you guys in the house and not just for protection, but because you guys are my friends, because I love you. So, you know, they go back and forth. They squash it out. It's all fine. But T-Core was definitely in her feelings about this. She was very upset for quite a bit, but again, by the end of the night, they are fine. We also have paranoid Angela again. So the backyard is open. Angela's in the house and she hears something. She's like, So she starts going over to the door, creeping up, creeping up, creeping up. She starts listening. What she doesn't realize is that she doesn't hear people talking in the room. She hears everybody talking in the backyard. Paranoid Ange is back again, y'all. And lastly, T-Core, Chemo, and Rubina have a conversation. T-Core says she wants an apology from Quinn for nominating them. She still will not let this go. She still believes that Quinn owes them something, even though they blindsided Quinn multiple times. Now, she feels that Cam would have put the three of them up if he was HOH this week. So she's trying to encourage them too to get closer to Cam, MJ, and Quinn so they don't look at them as threats. Overall, though, they do want to talk with Chelsie tomorrow, which would be today, about solidifying something between the three of them to ensure, obviously, that Chemo stays in the house. And that is basically where we ended things. So, as I said, it is not clear. It looks like the projected target is Chemo, but as we see from many conversations, people are very much on the fence with it. And I think that I would agree that sitting next to Angela is a good spot to be in because I don't think it will take much to flip people to keep Chemo. I think it all depends on how Chemo plays things though, and I do feel like Chemo needs to like get out there this week and not just have T-Core and Rubina having the conversations with everyone. So anyway, we will see. If you made it to this point in the video, that means you like the video. So I would love it if you could help me to support the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing on the videos. Share the videos with your friends, your family, anyone else in your life that likes Big Brother. Again, like I said, we are 40 subscribers away from 2,000, and that would be an amazing goal to make pretty soon. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have the bell on so you know when I drop these recaps almost daily, and make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is on that funny stuff. Anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next recap and we'll see what happens in this crazy house. Bye.